This is what they don't tell you. The Grand Canyon isn't just a natural wonder. It holds the secrets of an ancient, advanced civilization. But that's not even the craziest thing that was recently discovered. In a 1909 newspaper article, there were claims of an incredible find saying, "An explorer discovered a hidden cave filled with Egyptian artifacts. The Grand Canyon has been studied for centuries, so what's really hidden within it?" This is where things get scary. In the article, explorer G.E. Kincaid allegedly found a cave containing statues, tools, and hieroglyphs that resembled those of ancient Egypt. But here's the twist. Some scientists believe it wasn't even the ancient Egyptians, but an ancient advanced civilization called the Anunnaki. It's believed it was actually the Anunnaki who built the pyramids in ancient Egypt, and they also built pyramids and giant structures in part of North and South America. But once they left our planet, they took everything with them, leaving us with giant architecture all around the world.
One of the most famous landmarks in this entire world, the Grand Canyon. This very long boy stretches for almost 450 kilometers. And in that length, we can find up to 1,000 caves. In allegedly one of these caves, in 1909, they found hundreds of rooms filled with hieroglyphs and artifacts. They also reported that they will go back with up to 40 people to try to explore this cave further. Yet, many people say that the newspaper article lied. And who am I to tell you that they didn't? But it is interesting that the Grand Canyon has 1,000 caves, and you can only visit one of them. And it's not the one with the artifacts in it. What makes this story even weirder though is the Native American stories of the Hopi Indians, who themselves say that they emerged from underneath the Grand Canyon and they lived there in a city. And why do we find the names of ancient Egyptian temples all over the Grand Canyon?
Beneath the Grand Canyon lies a closely guarded secret that high-ranking officials are determined to keep hidden. During the 1850s, gold mining operations within the Grand Canyon uncovered such an enormous quantity of gold that its value plummeted dramatically. Consequently, the area was sealed off and designated as a protected sanctuary to thwart any further exploitation of its resources. In the midst of this secrecy, explorer Seth Tanner reported discovering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs etched into the walls of a cave within the canyon. Tanner proposed that the Grand Canyon might conceal the fabled city of El Dorado, a legendary metropolis of gold that has eluded discovery for centuries. According to his theory, El Dorado is buried deep within the canyon's network of caves. It is speculated that authorities might be suppressing this information to prevent further destabilization of gold prices. Despite this, recent years have seen a resurgence of interest, with proponents of Tanner's theory actively investigating the Grand Canyon in hopes of uncovering the elusive truth.
The Grand Canyon is not just an American sightseeing location. There are strange and dark secrets that lie within. Some have even encountered a gateway to a hidden world. In 1909, the Arizona Gazette published an article about an expedition funded by the Smithsonian. This expedition was led by a man named G.E. Kincaid, and he discovered an ancient underground city within the Grand Canyon. But here is where it gets interesting. This city was filled with artifacts from ancient Egypt, hieroglyphs, statues, and even a pyramid. How did ancient Egyptian relics end up in Arizona over 5,000 years ago? Is it possible that they had access to flight? But it gets even stranger. The Smithsonian seized all the artifacts and shut down any further exploration, which led to 90% of the Grand Canyon being restricted till this day.
Names that are absolutely unique to Egypt, and there's no indication that any contemporary cavalryman or anybody that was an explorer brought that concept, because the Native Americans themselves, especially the Pueblo people, they have a long history of the star people, aliens, and they also have a long history of the foreigners who came. So in the forbidden history revealed for the first time in history, and this is what people have got to understand, the cover-up and cover-over has taken place in the Catholic Church and antiquities. I'm not bashing Catholics. I'm just saying that it was a real thing. The giants that were found in the island of Sardinia, some of the stories of those giants are absolutely phenomenal. It was on Sardinia that the island of the giants, that's what it's called, Isles de Gigantes or something like that. The point being is that all of the giants that were in the Middle East with Joshua and Caleb, and God was going forth and said, go kill them. They all split to Sardinia. From Sardinia, they basically dispersed throughout the world. And like everything, it's interesting, Gary, they were child-sacrificing Canaanites, cannibals, and they went, like I said, they took that ancient knowledge and went all over the world. For the first time in history, and this was a gift from heaven, there's a gentleman who was invited to go into the secret warehouses of the Smithsonian. In other words, imagine the last scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first one, and was showing the Egyptian artifacts taken from the Grand Canyon. He was showing the giant mummies. He was showing giant bones. He was showing all of the Egyptian, if you will, antiquities that were present and excavated. And I just let it slip a little bit. Why is 90% of the Grand Canyon off limits?
Yes.
That's spooky, man.
They also own the rights to a section of the Grand Canyon. So I took a helicopter down into the Grand Canyon. They said we can't walk to this area. That area I heard had some old carvings or something would be over in this area. So I started trying to walk that way. And this guy pops out of nowhere with all black on, black hat, black military outfit with no logos, and an AR-15, and tells me, halt, you can't go any further. I'm like, well, why? I said, what's going on? Oh, didn't they tell you couldn't come over here? I said, well, they did, but I'm thinking, I just want to see, what's over here.
Right.
And he says, you can't come. I said, well, why? What? I said, can you just tell me, sir, like, why can't I come over here? He says, NASA owns the rights to this section. You can't come over here.
At the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon.
Do you have any theories of why that is?
This got to be technological. Starts at something with space. And then also, where else? Chaco Canyon, same situation. They actually own the rights to those round former things that look like they might have been domes or whatever. And now there's no dome, but you can see those round circles.
Where are those at?
Chaco Canyon, that's in South America. And so it's like, so wait a minute, what's going on here? How in the world what are they doing?
Most people don't know about the Grand Canyon's greatest and darkest conspiracy. They hide that conspiracy in plain sight. It's rife with Egyptian artifacts and geology. Where's the evidence for such outlandish claims, you may ask? The national park took a page out of Egyptian mythology when they named the formations. After a short little hike from the North Rim, you can catch a glimpse of Juno Temple, Jupiter Temple, Apollo Temple, and Osiris's Temple. Would I find evidence myself of such outrageous claims? The true story of a civilization now lost. The artifacts that they found at the Grand Canyon had an Egyptian origin. They found shrines, they found mummies, they found gold, they found temples. This information has been suppressed by the Smithsonian. What exactly are they hiding? It doesn't stop there either. 1920s, when the Grand Canyon was going to go from a monument to a national park, President Harding went on a voyage of understanding trip to try and understand what exactly was going on at these national parks. He couldn't quite understand. It was on this very trip that he died. His illness was treated with arsenic. Was he treated or poisoned or assassinated for trying to understand what was the Grand Canyon and its Egyptian artifacts? As I was getting to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, I felt like I was getting closer to the bottom of solving this riddle of what the Grand Canyon really was. There must be some Egyptian mythology hidden in the no-fly zones on the map. There are so many places in the Grand Canyon that are banned to the public or you can't even go to. If you veer off course, the authorities will come and get you. And there's even places in the Grand Canyon that's forbidden to drink water from. The forbidden fountain of youth, or to taste the tree of knowledge. was in the 1920s. The government coincidentally decided they wanted to survey the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. And coincidentally, on this infamous boating expedition, President Harding passed away, and they named a rapid after him to send a signal they would control the narrative of the Grand Canyon. There are far too many coincidences for the Grand Canyon and what happened in the 1920s when they covered it up. Egyptian artifacts and temples? Could these all just be theories? Just conspiracies? Or maybe the Grand Canyon is just what it is. A great, grand, beautiful place.
The Grand Canyon is not just a stunning natural wonder, it's also shrouded in mystery. Some explorers have claimed to find ancient hieroglyphics carved into its walls, suggesting that long-lost civilizations may have thrived in this vast landscape. Adding to the intrigue are numerous UFO sightings reported around the canyon. These incidents have led to speculation about extraterrestrial visits. Are they merely tourists? Or is there a deeper connection? Then there's the theory of the Anunnaki, ancient astronauts believed to have influenced human civilization. Some enthusiasts argue that they may have left their mark right here in the canyon. What do you think? Are these mysteries just myths? Or could there be truth hidden in the depths of the Grand Canyon?
Have you ever stopped to wonder about the mysteries that may lie within the Grand Canyon?
I'm driving back from Yuma, Arizona, and I look up in the sky, and it's kind of hard to tell. What is that?
I mean, it's a beautiful place to look at, to take pictures, and to visit. But what if I told you that maybe there's much more to it than anyone would ever imagine?
It was an era of giants, dinosaurs, and bears.
And what if I told you that in the 1900s, a supposed archaeological find was published in the Arizona Gazette, an archaeological find that would shatter absolutely everything we know about humanity, and it was supposedly covered up, making it possibly one of the greatest cover-ups in human history. And if all of this isn't strange enough, to make it even weirder, to this day no one knows exactly if it did happen or not. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at pictures, videos, and evidence that may actually support some of these archaeological finds. Are you guys ready?
Wow, that's just a bone, right?
That is a bone.
I mean, they told me that was possible.
And beautiful places in the world, the Grand Canyon is visited by thousands of tourists every single day. It is one of the most studied landscapes in the world, with extensive fossil records and a multitude of geologic features and rich archaeological history. In 1908, President Roosevelt wanted to declare the Grand Canyon off limits to all timber and mining operations, and feeling that this could be a final opportunity to explore minerals like gold, silver, and copper, explorer and researcher G.E. Kincaid took a boat down the Colorado River. He wanted to see if he could find something in the area before it was completely closed off to the public. So G.E. Kincaid and Professor S.A. Jordan, both explorers and supposed archaeologists working for the Smithsonian, set off the Colorado River to explore the Grand Canyon. About 42 miles upstream from the El Tovar Crystal Canyon and 2,000 feet up the canyon wall, G.E. Kincaid and S.A. Jordan spotted what appeared to be some sort of stairway that led to a huge cave. And at this point, they did what anyone searching for minerals and gold would do, and they went inside the cave. Now this is where things take a turn and become really, really strange.
In 1908, President Teddy Roosevelt sought to protect the Grand Canyon from timber and mining operations. Explorer G.E. Kincaid, anticipating the closure, mounted an expedition to the area to find minerals. But what he discovered there was something completely unexpected. Approximately 40 miles upriver from El Tovar Crystal Canyon, Kincaid observed unusual sediment stains, and upon investigation found a cavern entrance with steps leading to it, suggesting a man-made structure. Inside, Kincaid found writings on the walls not in English or Native American scripts, but in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. This finding suggested a historical connection far beyond local or known civilizations. The cave system revealed a vast underground city, estimated to house up to 50,000 people, complete with granaries, cooking areas, and artifacts indicating a sophisticated society with knowledge of metalwork and possibly agriculture. Among the findings were granaries with preserved seeds, tools made of copper indicating a lost art of hardening the metal, and various artifacts that pointed to a technologically advanced civilization. The complexity of the cave system with engineered passageways and rooms challenged contemporary understandings of ancient civilizations in North America. Kincaid's findings led to a Smithsonian expedition led by Professor S.A. Jordan, which further explored the cave system, uncovering a central chamber with a statue resembling Buddha, hinting at a cultural amalgamation or influence from distant lands. The artifacts and the layout of the cave suggested a deliberate, sophisticated design, contradicting the notion of an isolated or primitive local civilization. Despite significant discoveries, mainstream researchers and the Smithsonian have labeled the account as a hoax and dismissing the claims of an advanced civilization predating Native Americans in the Grand Canyon, and the possibility of ancient transoceanic contacts that might have influenced pre-Columbian American civilizations. Any and all attempts to further explore or validate Kincaid's findings face governmental restrictions, with areas off limits for exploration. This remarkable discovery aligns with local tribal legends, such as those of the Hopi, suggesting a historical basis for tales of ancient peoples and non-human entities emerging from the Grand Canyon, blending myth with tangible archaeological intrigue.
Did you know that the Grand Canyon is more than just a geographical accident? His story and his science says that the Colorado River formed the Grand Canyon over the course of millions of years. But critical thinkers know that this doesn't make any sense, especially when we can visibly see complex stones and temple ruins. If you look behind me, you can see one of the temples of the Grand Canyon. This temple, although currently ruined, looks like someone put work into it. In the 1800s, explorer G.E. Kincaid visited the Grand Canyon, and what he found was astounding. G.E. Kincaid found ancient so-called African artifacts. It was so many artifacts that he called in the Smithsonian to assist him. When the Smithsonian came in and excavated the area, not only did they not assist him, they covered everything up, and G.E. Kincaid was never to be heard of again. The Grand Canyon is one of 7 wonders of the world, but it's very obvious that the way that these stones are formed, this was no accident. Someone built this. The question is, who? Let me know in the comment section if you think that the Colorado River formed the Grand Canyon.